Hi everybody, this is Shawna Odette from the Flying Cat Academy. Welcome to lesson number 42. In this lesson, we will teach the student another rule about syllabication. We'll teach them that when there are consonant diphthongs, the time where two consonants go walking and make a brand new sound, then we will have those guys stick together when we're scooping syllables. Let's get started by setting up the table. We'll begin with the top 160 sight word list, the sight word study method instruction sheet, the student's card pack, some blank cards, a highlighter, markers, and some pencils. For the short vowel drill, you'll need the teacher instruction sheet, the keyword pictures, and the keyword sentence. For the phonemic awareness drill, you'll need the teacher instruction sheet and the colored tiles for the student. For the visual drill and auditory drill, you'll need the teacher instruction sheets and the student's card pack. For the syllable card drill, you'll have to cut this one out in advance. I like to have different colors for syllable 1 versus syllable 2. Then we'll move on to the magnetic letter tile drills for reading and spelling. You'll need the teacher instruction sheets and the cookie sheet with the magnetic letter tiles spread in a rainbow shape. You'll need the syllable pounding instruction sheet, the kinesthetic discovery instruction sheet, and the sheets for the lesson. We'll have scooping syllables worksheet number 3, the single word list, the short story, and the 3 sentences for the writing portion of the lesson. Then we'll have some cards cut out for the KCK sort. And we'll have another sort as well. This one will be for the Jeff will pass buzz for FLSZ doubling rule. And in addition to all of that, you might have a timer on the table. You'll need the timer if you have deemed that it's time to introduce fluency into the lessons. If you'd like to learn more about when to do this, go to the beginning of lesson number 33 where I discuss it at greater length. Let's do the sight word study method. Student, could you please take out your card pack? And I want you to read through every word in the pack. When you get one correct, you will put a check mark in the corner of the index card. Then you'll pass the whole card pack over to your teacher, and it's your teacher's turn to read. Your teacher will read each word, and you will write them down. And when you get one correct, you'll put a check mark in the other corner of the index card. After you're finished, you and your teacher can have a quick discussion to see if any of those words have been mastered. If they have, they will leave your pack. This creates space so you can introduce a new sight word. Let's do the short vowel drill. Student, you're going to need your 5 keyword pictures and your keyword sentence. You'll take out the first one, which is the apple, and you'll trace it with 2 fingers, and you'll say apple, and then underline it and say the target sound, ah. Do this as many times as your teacher deems necessary, and then move on to the other sounds in your pack. Then you'll take out the keyword sentence, and you'll say the keyword sentence, stretching out the vowel sounds as you do it. Let's do the phonemic awareness drill. Student, you're going to need your colored tiles for this one. Your word is lap. Can you repeat that word? Now let's use it in a sentence. I might say, I put my hands in my lap. How would you use lap in a sentence? Okay, now build the word lap with your colored tiles. All right, tap it, say it. Do you have 3 tiles down, and are they all different colors? If you do, that's right. Okay, so if that is lap, I would like you to take a new tile and call it B. Add B to the front of lap. What's your new word? Tap it and say it. Did you get blap? Not a real word, but that is correct. Let's change the B into a F. What's your new word? Tap it and say it. Did you get flap? If you did, that's correct. Now find the ul in flap. Can you touch the ul? Okay, I want you to change ul into a Now tap it and say it. Did you get frap? If you did, that's right. We used to say that we had a puppy and we'd say it was frapping. It's like a frenetic energy period, and at sunrise and sunset, the puppy would just run around in circles, and we called it frapping. Okay, so if that's frap, can you find the a in frap? Okay, and now change the a into an e. What's your new word? Did you get frep? I don't think that's a real word. Okay, find the e in frep and change it into an What's your new word? Did you get frup? If you did, that's correct. Now, take away the f in frup, and what are you left with? Tap it and say it. Did you get rup? If you did, that's right. Now let's put a t on the end of rup. What's your new word? Tap it and say it. Did you get rupt? Now that's not a word on its own, but it is a real syllable. It's part of lots of words. It means to break. So disrupt, interrupt. Okay, so that's rupt. Find the in rupt and change it to an eh. What's your new word? Tap it and say it. Did you get rept? If you did, that's right. Let's turn that one into a real word. So change the into a ul. And what do you have now? Did you get leapt? Okay. Now add a s to the front of leapt. And tap it and say it. Did you get slept, as in I slept in? If you did, that's correct. All right, great job. You can put your towels away. Let's do the visual drill. You'll need your card pack for this one. The teacher flashes a card, and the student says the sounds. So what sounds does the CH symbol make? There's 3. Did you say ch, k, and sh? I think of k as in school and sh as in machine, but most often it makes ch. Teacher, you can flash about 6 to 8 cards and then come back to me. Let's do the auditory drill. It'll use the same card pack as the visual drill. This time the teacher does not reveal the card at first. The teacher says a sound. Student, your sound is y. Can you repeat that sound? Now, as you write the symbol for y, I'd like you to say the sound and then underline it and repeat the sound again. All right, let's check your work. Did you know that it was Y? If you did, that's right. So teacher, you can do this drill for about 6 to 8 cards and then come back to me. Your teacher has the syllable card drill all set up and ready to go on the table for you. You will read down all the syllables in column number 1, and then you'll read down all the syllables in column number 2. Then you'll make nonsense words by reading across the rows. Then it's time to make real words, so you'll unscramble those syllables in column number 2 so that they match up with different ones in column number 1. As you're creating those real words, remember to discuss the meanings and put some of those words into sentences. Let's practice pounding out syllables. You're going to stretch out your arm, and then you'll hit it every time you hear a syllable. You'll just tap your arm and pound out, like you see how the fingers shoot out as a different syllable happens. So I would say your word is jacket. Pound it out. And you would go jacket. Okay, let's try one. And if you would prefer, you could just put your hand under your chin. Every time we make a vowel sound, the jaw drops. And that indicates that a syllable has happened. So you could just count the number of times your jaw hits your hand. Okay, your word is et. Pound it out. How many syllables in et? I just hear 1, the ed sound, so that's 1. Try this one. Rocketing. How many do you hear? Did you say 3? Rocketing. If you did, that's right. Try this one. Establishing. Did you say for? Establishing? I hear for. How about convict? That one has two. I hear the ah in con and the I in vict. Okay, great work. We're going to move on to the doubling drill for F, L, S, and Z. Can you have a quick discussion with your teacher about the Jeff will pass buzz rule? You might want to take out your Jeff will pass buzz sheet. And what is this rule all about? Just have a quick discussion. And then we are going to have a sort. So you'll take one of the cards and you'll read it and you'll think, is this one spelled correctly? Or does it need to have an F, L, S, or Z added to the end? And you can sort them into the proper piles. When you're doing the sort, I've added a few tricky words. Teacher, you can refer to the lesson plan for the word pretzel, an explanation of how that word works, and the word cats. Let's do another sort. This time we're talking about the CK rule. You'll want to begin by taking out your rule card, and that's the one with the milk truck on it. Student, can you explain to your teacher how this picture of a milk truck helps us to remember the CK rule? When you're done that, you can do the CK sort. There's little cards with words on them, and you'll bring the card up to either the K or the CK to complete the word. Let's move into the new content part of the lesson. Right now, we are discussing closed syllables, so all the spelling rules that I'm teaching you are relating to the closed syllable. Let's go back to the beginning. So why is this word a closed syllable? Well, let's talk it out. So how many vowels are there in a closed syllable? There's always one. So if you have two vowels in the syllable, then you know you don't have a closed syllable. Another quality is that there's at least one babysitter, one consonant at the end. That babysitter's keeping the A nice and quiet, and he's happy, so he's going to say a short sound, ah. This is the only syllable type that makes short vowel sounds. Apple, Eddie, itchy, olive, up. So that is what makes it a closed syllable. If I am scooping things, let's just add a second syllable to the front of mat. I have a cat with long hair, and so sometimes we have to unmat the cat's hair. So if I add the prefix un, which means not, onto mat, if I was scooping it, what I've taught you in the past is that you're looking for the space where here's my babysitter that ends the word, and often a closed syllable begins with a consonant. We know it doesn't have to have a consonant at the front, but it's often the case. So usually we'd be able to divide between the two consonants and find the syllables. Today we're talking about the idea that sometimes you have to keep the pair of consonants together. We have learned that TH is a symbol. So if this was in a scooping syllable situation, I wouldn't scoop between the T and the H because TH is a symbol of its own. So you can't break up the team because they're making a sound together, right? And that's the same as, remember how when I taught you PH, we said this is not a P and an H, it's a PH. So if you were trying to scoop a syllable and you had that rule, I have to separate between the consonants. No, not if it's a team because this is a symbol unto itself. PH says F. Do you understand? So CK is also like that. It's a team that sticks together. So today when you're scooping your syllables, you'll do the exact same stuff that we've always done. So you'll dot your vowels, you'll scoop, you'll mark the C's underneath for is it a closed syllable. You'll mark the type of vowel sound above each vowel with a little short sound if it's a short sound. But when you're actually making your scoop, you're looking for the teams that have to stick together. There are 4 different words on your sheet, but your teacher has an eye on the time, so your teacher will tell you how many words you'll be scooping today. Give it a try and then come back to me. Let's do the magnetic letter tile drill for reading. You'll need your magnetic letter tile board for this one. I'm going to tell you that your first sound is D. Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Your next sound is Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Your last sound is K. Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now apply any spelling rules that you feel have to get applied and tap it and say it. Did you get duck? D-U-C-K? The duck was flying overhead. If you did, that's right. Okay, put your tiles back and let's try a new word. Let's try a 2-syllable word. Here is your first sound. I. Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. The next sound is N. Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. S. Can you repeat that sound? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. P. Can you repeat that sound? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. E. Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. K. Can you repeat that sound? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. T. Can you repeat that sound? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Okay, you've got a lot of letters in front of you. If you can see your way to seeing a prefix that we've added to quite a few syllable card drills, that begins the word, and then we've got a base. And if you're wondering how to do it, let's apply those scooping skills that you've been developing. So you look at that really big word and you think, okay, I know we're working on closed syllables, so where would the first babysitter be? And that'll help you to know how to read the first syllable versus the second. So tap it and say it. Did you get inspect? I-N-S-P-E-C-T? If you did, that's correct. The base of that word, which holds the main meaning of the word, is spect, which means to look. So when I inspect something, think about, I don't know, a police comes and they're inspecting the crime scene. They're looking into the crime scene. Look in, spect, inspect. So amazing when we start thinking about the meanings of the different syllables. Okay, great work. So you can put those away and you can move on to the single word list and then the short story. If your teacher has deemed it necessary, you will be working on a fluency piece after that. You'll need your magnetic letter tiles for this one. Your word is hack. Can you repeat that word? If I was going to use it in a sentence, I might say, I do not have the skills to hack into a computer. How would you use the word hack? Okay, what's the first sound that you hear in hack? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the next sound that you hear in hack? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And what's the last sound that you hear in hack? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now think about any spelling rules that have to get applied. Tap it and say it. Did you spell it H-A-C-K? If you did, that's right. Okay, let's try a new word. Let's do a 2-syllable word. Your word is musket. Can you repeat that word? I might say a musket is a type of gun. Let's hear those syllables. You could either tap it this way or do this one or go this way. Musket. Okay, because we're going to try and spell syllable by syllable. So let's start with the first one. What's the first sound you hear in musk? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the next sound that you hear in musk? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the next sound that you hear in musk? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And what's the last sound that you hear in musk? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Okay, let's add our second syllable. Et. What's the first sound that you hear in et? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the last sound that you hear in et? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now tap it and say it. Did you spell it M-U-S-K-E-T? If you did, that's right. Teacher, if there's time permitting, you could do another word in this way. And otherwise, let's just move right on to our finger tapping and writing. So you'll need a lined paper and a pencil. Student, I'm going to say a word, and you're going to tap out each sound that you hear, saying the sound as you hear it. Then you'll grab the whole word and say the whole word, and then you'll write it down. If you would prefer, you can use the method of tracing, where you trace the letter and say the sound it makes, and then grab it, say the whole word, and then write it down. So let's see. Your first word is funk. Can you repeat that word? I might say funk is a type of music. Okay, tap it or trace it, and then say the whole word and write it down. All right, let's check your work. Did you spell it F-U-N-K? If you did, that's right. Let's go on to the next one. Let's do a two-syllable word. Your word is cabin. Can you repeat that word? I might say, I went up to my cabin for the weekend. When we spell a larger word like this, we want to spell it in syllables. So let's figure out the two different syllables. Cabin. Okay, so we've got cab and in. So let's spell cab first. So tap out cab and then tap out in. When you think of it this way, it's very easy to spell, isn't it? Because you're just spelling these little 3- and 2-letter syllables. So then write down your word. And did you spell it C-A-B-I-N? If you did, great work. You're moving into really big words here. Let's do one more. Submit. Can you repeat that word? We might say, I will submit to his rule. So mit means to send, and sub means under, so you're sending under. It's like, when someone's forcing something upon you, you have to submit. Okay, so let's think about it in syllables. What do you hear? Submit. Okay, there's our two syllables. So you'll tap or trace out sub, tap or trace out mit, and then write it down. Okay, how did you do? Did you spell it S-U-B-M-I-T? Great work. When we start thinking in syllables, we have to remember that we're writing it as one word, because when you might want to put a big space in between the sub and the mit, but we just want it to be actually equally spaced. So make sure that your spacing is good. Okay, we are on to writing 2 sentences, sorry. Your teacher will read 3, and you can choose the 2 that you would like to write. After you finish writing a sentence, make sure you use CHOPS to check your work. Let's do a quick review before you go. We've been talking about the doubling rule for one-syllable closed syllable rules that end in F, L, S, or Z. Is this word spelled correctly? Have a quick discussion with your teacher about why this word is either incorrectly spelled or correct. Okay, we've also been talking about the CK rule. Is this word spelled correctly? Have a quick discussion with your teacher about that one. How about this word? Is it spelled correctly? Finally, we were talking about a new rule for dividing syllables. In the past, we've said, hey, it's a good strategy to divide between the 2 consonants that you see in a word. So in this word, I see the T and the D together, and I would suspect that that is the proper place to divide those words. And then I would tap it and say it to see if that made sense. H-A-T-D-A-G, hot dog. That does make sense. But today we learned that we do have to take care, because if it is a situation where you've got a team that are working together to make a sound, which would be the case in TH, well, then we always have to make sure that that team sticks together so they can do their job of making the sound they want to make. So in this one, TH would have to stick together, and we'd have menthol. Okay, great work. That is the end of lesson 42. This is Shawna Odette from the Flying Cat Academy.